What is going on, Lucid fans? Welcome back to Fanatic Journey. So today I want to give you a good summary of everything that is happening with Lucid. I want to talk about Europe. Europe is one big attribute that I really do like, so I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on that and tie it all together with some technical analysis at the end. But before I get into any of that, all I ask, smash the thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships. Link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With all that, let's get right to it. So looking at the chart, not much of an impressive chart on the intraday front, and it is largely because of a couple different attributing factors, one of which is Russia and the Ukraine tensions when it comes to that, and Lucid is having their very first recall. So congratulations to us. At the end of the day, it is not that big of a deal. It is a relatively small one, so it is good to have one under our belt as a completion, if you want to think of it like that. And at the end of the day, it's not that bad. So I do strongly feel having news like this on such a red day, it does help to kind of eliminate it, because there has been days when their whole market is completely green and there is some negative news that does come out to a stock and it completely kills the momentum. So at least it was on a very much red day. So I'm going to talk on a couple different things, one of which is growth. Like I said, when it comes down to the growth, I am very excited for that, more specifically Europe. And there has been lots of posts and tweets and everything like that when it comes down to Europe. So we all know tentatively Europe is going to be done. Their first studio was in Q1 of 2022, and that was in Germany. In addition to that, they already are starting to hire in Munich. So that is a very big deal. I've already brought this up in a lot of other videos, but I am very excited about this. And there is new information that relatively came out over the last couple of days, and it is still hiring. And now they are hiring for Amsterdam, for Netherlands. This is a lot of big things, more specifically the vehicle registration program specialist. So it does look like right here there is a lot of positive things to take from this. More specifically, they are amping up for a lot of vehicles, and enough so that it has their own vehicle registration program specialist. And looking at this was posted via Jenny from the blockchain. Looking right here, so we all know there's going to be a lot of studios throughout Europe, and then more specifically recently there's this, so Netherlands right here. And so one thing that really stands out when it comes down to this one specific position, so again, the vehicle registration program specialist, is that they didn't seek that in Germany. So it definitely does show that there is a lot of big things. So it does make you wonder whether they're going to divide Europe into regions, either north, south, east, west, and so forth. And this one position will either deal with one region. So that does make you wonder as far as what the logistics is going to be. But regardless of all that, it definitely does show that they are getting their ducks lined in a row. And that is one thing, as far as investors, is a great buying opportunity. So this is why there is a lot of short-term noise that's going on. So as you can see, the live ticker, it is down roughly about 6%. That is a big day. And sometimes you just have to realize that there is a lot of short-term noise, and you just have to factor in that the day-to-day operations and the expansion has not changed one bit. They are still seeking all of those expansions and reservations in Europe. And I'm going to touch on more specifically the reservations in regards to Europe. But when it comes down to this, there is a lot of positive things to think about. More specifically, the cheaper the price gets, the more appealing it is. And so that's just one way I potentially see it. You may see it completely different. And also, I'm sure a lot of you are getting sick of this, but I do really like this. It breaks it down via region. So Europe, look at that. There is a huge amount of demand when it comes down to Europe, and this is just in 2020 alone. Theoretically, a lot of which has doubled since 2021. So there is a lot of demand, which is going to be very beneficial for Lucid. And like I said, especially with all of these studios throughout Europe, there is going to be a lot more reservations, especially with their upcoming earnings set for February the 28th. After market close, they hopefully will give a lot of guidance on their European expansion. So this is one aspect I'm really excited about, and that I do strongly feel is a great buying opportunity. And as well, I just want to bring this up. And there has been a lot of these posts coming out, more so around reservations, especially when they do have their upcoming earnings, they are going to be giving updated reservations. So there is a lot of positives when it comes down to this. And like it even says right here, Europe in 2022 and China in the horizon at around 2023. So they are going to be starting to ramp up reservations, especially with more and more studios actually opening. And this can be mirrored for the States as well, because when it comes down to the States, there's going to be a lot of studios there. More studios equals more reservations in theory, and then bumping up a little bit more demand. So that is one thing that I do anticipate is going to happen in Europe, because a lot of Europeans are are very excited for this. So when it comes down to that, there is an anticipation by 2025 there's going to be 100,000 vehicles being produced on a yearly basis, which would generate roughly about 12 billion in revenue. So that is one very good thing for us as investors to look forward to, and that is only going to appreciate so much more when there is a lot of European and China demand. Again, going back to this, China and Europe is exactly the two markets that they should be hitting, and they are. So when it comes down to their growth and especially them seeking out positions, this is one thing that I'm very excited for. And over the coming months, I do anticipate them hiring a lot more positions like this, because look at all the studios. Again, whether they divide it north, south, east, west, or if it's going to be on a per city or per country basis, I don't know. Let me know in the comments below if you do know that. But with that, just want to cap it off with some technical analysis. So right now, as you can see, I have the 50, 100, 200-day moving averages, Bollinger Bands, RSI, stochastic, and momentum. So right now there is a bit of a deviation on the stochastics, showing a red line above the black, showing a bearish sentiment. Momentum number of buyers is definitely been down, unfortunately, in the last couple of days. RSI is fairly neutral at 34, and we are at the lower percentile of the Bollinger Band, as you can see, well below all the moving averages. So that definitely does show overall a little bit more of a bearish sentiment, but I'm sure, as you can tell based on the overall market, everything is very much red. One thing to take away from this is we did break below the S1 on the Fibonacci, which is a very strong support. So most likely we will be range bound between S1 and S2, and the S2 technically is $20. So we could be range bound between the $20.25 over the next foreseeable future. And again, there is a lot of big things, more specifically their earnings. So regardless of all these fluctuations in the short term, you have to think long term, because when it comes down to the long term price targets, it's going to be $200, $300, whatever it might be. You're not going to necessarily care about the short term, what happened that we were down 5% or whatever it might be. You're not going to care necessarily that there was a small minor recall. You're not going to care about a lot of that. With all that though, let me know your thoughts on Lucid in the comments below. If you think that this recall is a big deal, let me know as well. In addition to that, let me know if you are more so scared about the Russia tensions and how that may affect the American market. Let me know. If you haven't already, smash the thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Greatly appreciate that. If you do like my channel and support the growth, take a look at my memberships, link in the description below, or just hit the join button at the bottom of the screen. With that, I appreciate you guys watching, and let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.